Awesome. So you guys might hear some noise in the background. I am actually having some crisis in the back, which is 10-year-old, so never mind. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mommy's Corner. I hope everyone is doing well today. My name is Suad Farole. I'm your host. Thanks for this wonderful Saturday evening. Seattle has been really sunny this whole entire summer. So we wanted to thank everyone for being here today in this lovely day. You could have been doing anything besides being here with me and this amazing, lovely women, but you chose to come and to share this space and time with us. And we are blessed and greatly appreciate your presence here today. Mommy's Corner is one of many programs under umbrella for global prenatal services. It's a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to provide face doula services that will educate, respect, and empower low-income refugee and immigrant women and their families during pregnancy, birth, and into early parenting. Mommy's Corner is a space not just for moms, but all women folk. And since the pandemic, it has become not just for a space where we can come to find empathy, support, and comprehend, but a safe haven, access to so many critical sources in our community. And it's also a place where women just can come and just, to have fun, just, to laughter and the sisterhood. Today's topic, it is, totally forgot. Christian, can you?
Abdominal massage and happy belly and gut wellness.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And our guest speaker is my friend, my colleague, my community member, Sister Kristen, who's been working in this community for many, 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 many years. And she will also introduce you herself and give you her bio. I apologize. I didn't ask her ahead of time about her bio. We will have A&Q after presentation, but if you should have any question or concern during the presentation, please send it via chat box privately, directly to me, or, just shout it out or raise your hand or whatever. A great time for our guest today, Kristen, who just, took the time to share with us, a member of our community. Without further ado, the floor is yours, my dear friend.
Thank you so much, Suad. So I'll just keep it brief. I'm the mother of two, a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old, and I've been a massage therapist for about 25 years. I have a private practice in Kirkland, but I also offer mobile services. And especially during the pandemic, I've been focused on traditional healing practices for the postpartum time. And I've been taking more training in abdominal massage techniques, as well as the healing of the womb and the abdomen after C-section.
You like that? You like that ice cream?
Including, like the nutritional aspects as well, and some Ayurvedic healing practices. So today I'm going to share with you just some points, and then I hope we have time to do a hands-on practice with the abdominal massage. So how I became a massage therapist: when I was a small child, I always complained about having stomach aches. And, my mom took me to the doctor, and they would say, okay, you can give us a stool sample and we can do this test and that test. And actually it was just stress in my body. So especially for people that have, food allergies or sensitivities, or they have anxiety, sometimes it manifests as like irritable bowel syndrome or constipation. And some of us have lost the traditions of caring for ourselves, like daily rituals. And so, for example, I know that in India, it's practiced every day that you would give your baby a body massage after their bath. And I think, if that's something that we can practice ourselves, it would be really healing and help us feel calm in our bodies. A lot of people have been exposed to trauma, and daily stress, and we don't know what our bodies are designed to actually feel amazing and to feel relaxed, but our days are I think I was muted. I don't know.
So sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
What part did you hear? The last part?
The traditions of India and what they did and stuff like that, and how you carry a lot of the stress in your stomach.
Yeah. So anyway, I will I'll start with this, the presentation, and then we'll have some time to actually demonstrate on ourselves the abdominal massage. So in addition to eating right and taking probiotics, abdominal massage offers critical benefits to reaching your goals of obtaining a healthier gut. I'll share some basic techniques for the massage and also C-section scar tissue healing and just general happy belly information.
Mhm.
As you know, the brain has a direct effect on the stomach and the intestines. For example, the very thought of eating can release the stomach's juices before food even enters. So a troubled intestine can actually send signals to your brain and send like a distress signal. And so whether it's anxiety or depression, they're now understanding that not only what we eat, but how our body digests the food actually directly impacts how we feel. So our moods, and there's an intimate connection between our mind and our gut. So abdominal massage has several ways that it supports your healing. One is that the average person has between 5 to 25 pounds of waste trapped in their digestive tract. So that's why it's critical that every day we have a bowel movement, and we can help ourselves and we can help our family members, we can help our babies, anyone actually, with this digestive process. So an adult's body, you can have between 5 and 25 pounds of undigested food that needs to move through your system. And massage can help us feel relaxed in general, but it can also manually help move those wastes through our body. And our guts actually have a motion called peristalsis, which is involuntary muscle movement. So when you take in food in your mouth, our digestion begins actually in our mouth. It's really important that we slow down and that we actually experience the pleasure of having the food and being mindful about it. So, and that's really tricky if you're rushing, you know, and you feel like you don't have time. But even if you're able to just take a breath, you know, to say a prayer over your food and to physically sit down, your body will actually receive more nutrition and more nurturing if you're able to do that. So it's important also to make sure that when you eat, you're not eating more than what would fit in the palm of your hands after it's been chewed, because overfilling our stomachs is also a problem. And we have so many hadiths about this. And subhanAllah, there's a lot of wisdom, you know, that's been practiced for thousands of years. So this is an extra challenge during modern times because we might be distracted. We might be eating and looking at our phone, or we might be driving, go through drive-through and rushing. But, you know, it's something just to think about. And a lot of people actually have difficulty with digestion, irritable bowel, Crohn's, and even different times in your menstrual cycle. If your abdominal area is cramping, you may not be digesting very well either. So finding ways to support yourself every day. And we have multiple opportunities each day to remember to sit down and to slow down. So there are neurons in our body that there's about 100 billion neurons in the human brain, and 5 million neurons actually connect in our gut. So it's like, remember when I mentioned that the brain and the gut are intimately connected? There's a lot of signaling that's happening to our brain, and they're just learning more about it. So the vagus nerve, you've probably heard of the vagus nerve. It's one of the biggest nerves that connects through the mind and the gut, and it sends signals in both directions. And so this idea that when we're rushing, our body's actually in fight or flight, even if we're not feeling stressed, your brain can't be in both modes at the same time. It can't be in rest and digest mode and kind of like fear or rush or active movement. So you probably have a grandmother that has told you, don't swim right after eating. And that's actually solid advice, because if you're going to be active and exercising, your body is not in resting mode. I can't tell you how many women have said to me when they come for a massage session, they apologize and they say, I'm sorry, I don't know why my stomach is making so much noise. And I always have to reassure them, this is a good sign. This means your body is actually in digestion mode. But most of us have no idea what that healthy digestion would sound like, because we're rushing. And when we're asleep, our digestion can actually activate. And that's not the optimum time for our body to be absorbing all the nutrients. It should be during the day. So just something to think about. Okay, I'm just getting to my next slide. Does anybody have any questions before I move to the next slide?
I do. So when we get a massage and our stomach is grumbling, that means our digestive system is relaxed. Yes,
that's what healthy digestion sounds like. Because you might hear some like gurgling sounds, and it's an unfamiliar sound to us, except for when we're hungry. Sometimes we can hear it and feel it. That's another thing. If we're eating and snacking all the time, we're not necessarily getting used to that, except, maybe during Ramadan.
By the way, I'm snacking right now. When you told me to slow down, I was like, okay, I'm going to slow down and enjoy my snack. Yes. Enjoy my tea. So I'm enjoying my tea.
Good. So nearly 80% of our immune system is in the gut. And by, thinking about that, if nearly 80% of your digestive system is in the gut, it's so important to choose quality foods. And quality foods doesn't necessarily mean, like expensive or organic. The most simple food actually is probably the best thing for us to digest. And it is great if you can buy organic or you can grow your own foods. But, the most simple foods, and I'm not going to go deep into nutrition, but the whole grain foods and the real foods that haven't been processed in a factory are the best for us. So nearly 90% of our sleep and mood regulations come from the neurotransmitters that are the serotonin that's actually made in our gut. So our mood is affected by our gut, and our immune system is affected by our gut, and our energy level, the gut is actually the powerhouse of the body. If you think about it, it's like, that's how we fuel ourselves. And I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I grew up drinking like soda pop and eating lots of candy. And I'm not saying that we should eliminate that 100% from our, options. But what I will say is, as an adult, I'm very careful. Maybe once a month, I'll drink a soda. And I know how that impacts my blood sugar. And if I drink too much caffeine, sometimes I feel like, anxiety or shaky. And it's because it actually is activating, the anxiety in the body. That's just how it is. So, all right. Going to move on to the next slide. So, as I mentioned before, touch and massaging our organs can actually increase the blood flow and the lymphatic flow and remove the toxins from our body just by supporting our digestion. Our body knows what to do if we're supporting digestion by slowing down, not overfilling ourselves, and eating the things that our body actually needs. So abdominal massage actually can also help relieve held emotions and tension and stress. Like I mentioned, when I was a small child, my mom would take me to the piano lessons or say, okay, it's time for school. And I would say, oh, my stomach hurt. I wasn't actually pretending. I wasn't making it up. My stomach actually was starting to cramp because of the stress. And so I started to ask for massage. But these are things that we can do for ourselves as well. We can take a hot water bottle or a warming heating pad and put it on our abdomen. We can also learn just by putting your 2 hands on your abdomen and closing your eyes and taking, let's try together just to take 3 deep breaths. I don't know why, but it's so simple and it's such a quick way to connect with yourself. If somebody would have taught me that when I was a little kid, I mean, like, I think it would have been really helpful. So yeah, we are in a fight or flight response and our muscles contract, and that impacts our abdomen's ability to move the food through and to do its job that it needs. So it's important to think of things that you can do on a daily basis to relax yourself. Like I mentioned, in India, it's like a daily practice. Infants get bathed and they get their abdominal massage and their whole body massage. But I think it really supports, we know it helps babies with colic, right? So why don't we do that for ourselves? It's just as important for our digestion. Also, if you've had any kind of surgery, whether it was a C-section or you've had maybe your gallbladder removed, or you've had an appendix removed, or any other type of surgery or trauma, you can support yourself by doing massage. A lot of times they will mention in the hospital to take a stool softener or to increase your fiber, but they don't necessarily teach you how to do the hands-on massage. And so I'm not reading the chat, but I did see a comment about, I'm sure that it's a practice in Africa and China, all over the world. It's just here, like in the United States, for people that have lost connection with their culture. If they didn't have their auntie or their grandmother, nobody was teaching them how to continue that. So it's wonderful, especially the traditional recipes of how to support digestion. They now, science is catching up with, they can explain, you know, nutrition wise, the nutrition experts, the people that are studying what's actually happening with the hormones in the body and the digestive process. Now they have the science that actually can confirm what grandma was saying is right. So, and when we've had surgery, you know, or we've had delivered a baby, all our organs have shifted into different area when you've had a baby. And if you've had surgery, you know, maybe they've actually moved your organs to the side. And even if it's like a robotic surgery, it's still disrupting. It's still a trauma. It still takes time to recover. So we don't recommend to do massage directly on a scar, but you can certainly support someone to feel good and to feel like, even if it's a warm water bottle on the abdomen, if you wait 6 weeks and it looks like your scar is, you know, healed, that is a good time to start doing the massage. And you want to actually manually break up the scar tissue because it can pull down on your abdominal wall. And I can't tell you how many women I've met, they didn't have any kind of massage or support for their belly after they've delivered a baby or after they've had a surgery. And it can also result in back pain, because if you think about it, the front of the body, all the muscles that support the front, there's also the mirror on the back. The back is supporting. So you hear a lot of people saying we got to strengthen our core muscles, and it works together. The whole body works together. So whether you've had, a surgery or you've had a baby, it takes time to recover. It's not a good idea to start trying to strengthen your core muscles while your tissues are still trying to heal. But all the ways of supporting yourself, whether it's squatting or, yoga or stretching or walking, it doesn't take any kind of special workout routine, but just a lot of different types of movement. And we do a lot of sitting in chairs, and that's not really great for our abdominal, like not only the muscles, like our muscles are losing the strength, but also it doesn't help with digestion if we spend too much time sitting. So even in the hospital, they'll make the patients get up and walk, because some gentle movement is actually good for us. And even for babies, you'll see moms moving their legs up to their abdomens and back. It's because their legs are actually massaging their abdominal tissues and their organs, but it's all gentle, gentle. Okay. So maybe we can talk a little bit specifically about a few techniques for the C-section scar, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so whether you do this on yourself or you're teaching a client or you're, sharing it with a family member or a friend, like I mentioned, you want to wait 6 weeks so that the tissue's actually healed. It's not an open wound anymore. And you want to use a safe oil that's something that's edible, like coconut oil, avocado oil, even olive oil. Those kind of oils that are, if it's safe to eat, then it's safe to put on your skin, because everything you put on your skin, your body absorbs. So you would want to take these 2 fingers. I'll just stand up so I can demonstrate. So imagine you had a C-section scar here. You would want to gently you would hold your tissues like this, and then you would do almost like a smile. So you're just using 2 fingers and you're pulling across where maybe the scar would be, and you're just doing a motion like this. Another motion you could do is pinch between your thumb and your index finger, rolling and going along the whole length of the scar, rolling the tissues. You've probably heard the word fascia. So this is just connective tissue. But if these scar areas don't get massaged, it can create like a pulling sensation, a burning sensation, and it actually relates to your nerves. It can make you feel like you have to go to the bathroom quite often, and other issues. So, and then you can also do like a circular movement directly on the scar. Yeah. And just gently, I didn't mention this because I'm standing up to demonstrate, but it's best if you lay down. And if you're able to support your knees, like basically if your knees, if your feet are on the floor and your knees are up, kind of like when you have a pelvic exam, because that makes your muscles relax. So that's the best position. You can allow your knees to go together, so they're supporting each other, or you can put a pillow behind your knees. That's the same position if you want to do abdominal massage. So if you want to, now we can all practice some abdominal massage technique, and then we'll see if there's any questions. So same thing, I'm going to stand up and demonstrate. It's not harmful to do it when you're standing up. If you want to lay down, you can certainly do it laying down. So the way the food flows through the abdomen is actually, it goes down your left side, exits your body on the in your colon. So one thing you can do is always remember to go towards your left hip. You can start just by making some soft, gentle contact and making a couple deep breaths. I'm not going to massage directly into the belly button. I just want to go just to the edge of the belly button, and I'll do some soft, gentle circles. It's okay if you want to go a little bit deeper, but it shouldn't hurt. And then you move gently in a circle towards the right. And I'm just going around the belly button slowly. You may feel some kind of lumps or hard spots. We have a lot of lymph nodes in our bellies. You may find some areas that are tender. You can just keep going over those slowly. And I'm making a bigger circle around. So the small intestine is actually right behind the belly button, and then the large intestine is further around. So you don't have to know a lot about the anatomy or have it memorized. The key is to just make sure that you work around your abdomen. You can even work up under your ribs. This is the diaphragm. And you can always do a gentle pulling down movement like this. And you can work your abdomen all the way down to like just above your pubic bone, because your abdominal muscles actually start basically right below your bra line and go all the way down to like the top of your pubic bone. So that's just a small demonstration of, you know, the motion, but you want to remember to end going down your left hip. So because that's the way you're helping the food move through your system, going the correct direction. But if you do the opposite direction, it's okay. Like, it's just more helpful if you go so that you're exiting on the left.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try to look at the chat. Yes, you can do this massage when you're pregnant. You just want to be gentle, make sure you're not doing anything that's painful. But a lot of women experience heartburn, even earlier in the pregnancy, nausea. And then, like I mentioned before, you will, if you're pregnant, you probably want to do it lying down. But if you're at the end of your pregnancy, you know, laying on your back may not be comfortable and it can cut off the blood flow. So you probably don't want to spend more than a few minutes doing the technique. It's still safe for you. But if you want to, you could lay on your side and use a pillow in between your knees to support. Yeah, and I hope that answered your question. Let's see if there's any other.
Kristen, I just had a follow-up one. So this is to aid with digestion. It has nothing to do with like helping if you're having pain, but this is solely for digestion. Am I right?
No, this can be, let's say you're having your period and you're having a lot of abdominal cramps. You can work your abdomen and you can work your back. You can apply heat. You can, if you're having pain, like it maybe even not just digestive pain, but like if you've done a workout and your, you know, abdominal muscles are sore, it's really, it's supportive for all kinds of muscle pain and organ dysfunction.
Thank you.
So let's see. So also constipation. I mean, it's a great way to deal with your own constipation. If you're someone who has a lot of digestion challenges, certainly you can work with a nutritionist, but manually doing a massage for yourself every day, like after you eat a meal, can really be helpful, reduce gas and constipation. It can also help you just feel more relaxed and nurtured. So there's a lot of benefits. If you have bloating, if you're finding that you've actually gained weight and what you're eating, you know, hasn't really increased, or, you know, you may be just holding on the waste in your body, but also if you're having trouble getting all the nutrition out of your food, this is a great way to support digestion in general. So you want to seek professional guidance if you have irritable bowel syndrome, colitis, a diastasis recti separation. So that can be something that happens if you have weak abdominal muscles. It means that your abdominal wall has separated somewhat and there's a noticeable gap. And it could be the whole length of your abdomen. It could be at the top or even at the bottom. It's not uncommon for people that have had large babies, or maybe they weren't really in a strengthening condition before they got pregnant. So if they had any weakness before, also, if you have twins, there's a lot of reasons why the separation of the abdomen can happen, but then your organs are actually very vulnerable. So it's important to check in with, you know, a medical professional just to make sure that they think it's a good idea that you work on yourself. And the same is true if you have gallstones, kidney stones, calcium deposits, hernias, internal bleeding. You don't want to do massage, but check in with your primary care provider or your specialist if you are thinking that you might want to do massage, but you're not sure if it's safe for you. Okay, I think there was a question. So do you recommend a colonoscopy to eliminate leftover waste? I think the colonoscopy is usually just more of a diagnostic, can't talk. So they're usually looking for like polyps and other things. You may be thinking of like enema or a colon cleanse. You know, there may be some benefits to that, and there also may be some risks to that. I don't really have any experience with colonoscopies. I haven't had that procedure done, but I'd be really careful about going somewhere where they're going to do a colon cleanse. I think there's a lot of ways you can support yourself doing that at home. Just for example, sometimes people do a cleanse, a detox, where they take soup or light meals for 3 days, and they feel like after that they have more energy. And I think that's one of the ways you can reduce waste. One of the things I wanted to mention was that the bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microscopic living things that we refer to as microorganisms, we actually have trillions of these microbes on our skin and in our intestines. So I mentioned at the beginning probiotics and prebiotics. A lot of people are talking about how you can get probiotics through yogurt and through fermented foods. And I mean, that's one way to support your digestion. But I actually was interviewing someone who is a nutritionist expert. That's not my expertise per se. I like to learn what I can to share it with people. But, you know, the gut microbiome, it actually begins like the moment that we're born. So as soon as we get exposed to air, and as the baby is exiting the birth canal, they're picking up that from the birth canal from the mother. And if the baby is born C-section, there has been a study that hasn't really been replicated, but they actually took a swab from the mother's birth canal and the amniotic fluid, and then they put it on the babies that were born through C-section. And actually they found some positive impact. Also, as soon as the baby starts suckling, they're getting that exposure from the microbes that are on the mom's breast. And one of the reasons why they talk about the crawl, you know, the baby crawling up the mother's tummy, is because they get all those, they now know that they're getting something good from that. So it's important not to take the baby away quickly and clean them up, but to allow them to be exposed to the mother's, microbiome. And they know that the babies are getting that through breast milk as well. And the diversity of the microbiome is important. Yeah. So altogether, these microbes can weigh as much as 2 to 5 pounds, basically what they find in our gut and on our skin. So that's a lot. And they play a huge role in our health. And digesting breast milk, some of the bacteria that first begins to grow inside the baby's intestines, it's really beneficial. And so the technique that I mentioned about, they call it vaginal seeding. So if a baby's been through the C-section birth, you can ask if they will, do a swab, and, the hospital may agree to do that for you, or you can do it yourself, I guess, if you're maybe in a home birth or a birth center. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions?
I think I see Shugri's hand up.
MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. سؤال قبل لك في Soomaali أنا كل شيء أنا في إنجليزي أو شيء ما قرناي sorry even though في إنجليزي قوي بكلم عشان قبل هاي I'm glad that هرت أركب because my 2 daughters I had both of them were C-section. I wish I would know all those massages. But عشان في Soomaali دي بشين منديلية وقم حاكين because I had a lot of منديلية وأتذكر إني واحد في إنجليزي لو يرادو أو إحنا أمود إنه واحد إيجا عررايان على شكر then مركا مساجية قذالة يقول نقنايان and sometimes وحمودا and سالك ما عرفت مش سحرة كيمان يسو إنه وحلا إيجا تاجي and sometimes مركا كرسي إسبونج كفريستو and هو إذا وحيقول هذا إن لقى مساجية في عن there's also minkawaay oo wareegay so af English waxa lagu yiraahdaa ma garanayo I wish oo inay iga caawisina baa
Saad, I'll see it. No problem, Shugri. Saad, you want to translate that?
معناته من الرياضيو معناه maxaa ka wadaa marka la dhalaa oo hoos ka soo baxo. So I can go and I can translate. I know what Shukri is talking about. I'm sorry, Shukri.
No problem.
No, you're okay.
Mandeliya waxa lagu yiraahdaa af English ma kasayani.
So I'll explain. Af English ani xataa ma kasay, but I know so what we're talking about is in our culture there's something we call in our guts that it's like it's moving around, so our gut is moving around. And also what she was saying is when she's sitting down through her rectum, it feels like there's something pressing against her rectum, or like something is like pressing against it when she sits down. And her mom usually said to massage it so that it gets better. And this happens to her after giving birth. Like it feels like, some of the intestines are moving around inside her belly. And when she does massage them, they kind of back up, or it stops doing that.
Yeah, so maybe like hemorrhoid or...
I don't know if it's hemorrhoid, but it's like, it feels like it's pushing my abdomen. And if sometimes it's so painful, I have to go run to the toilet and sit down and it feels better. I don't know why that it happens. It feels like if I sit like, I'm working and if I sit like 3-4 hours and it's not the chair that I'm sitting is cushioned, it's not a hard chair. That's what I feel. And I asked my mom and she said that because of maybe your urine is not sitting around. I'm not sure. So I was just wondering that what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think that a lot of women after they've given birth, their perineum and their, the rectum, like all of that has been smushed and stretched and sometimes cut and like all the things. So it can be so painful. And it's not uncommon to have hemorrhoids or like almost like a burning when you want to go like a bowel movement, or you feel like your stool is like very compact, and it's painful. I mean, I've had this experience before where it's painful to go to the bathroom. So just knowing that obviously all your intestines, it goes from small intestines, large intestines, and then it actually is going to exit, through your rectum. So just sitting on it, there's nerve endings. People can feel it, when they're sitting down. Also, like, it's subhanAllah, the body is amazing. So like, as soon as we start eating and salivating, even thinking about food, there's a message in our brain that tells our body we're going to receive food, and it's built to be able to digest. But sometimes there's some trauma that happens during childbirth. Even if you have a wonderful childbirth, it's like the body is going through so much changes. So, and I don't know about all the cultures and the traditions, but I know traditional Chinese medicine, Asian medicine, African medicine, like all the cultures have some special meal considerations for new mothers, not just to increase the breast milk, but to be soft and easy to digest, because you don't want to eat things that are difficult to digest. And it can take weeks, right? Like, your body's not going to go back to the way it was before birth overnight. Like, it's very important to have those soft soups and hydrating things that are easy to digest, and see if that like affects you in a positive way. Any other questions, comments, experience? I know you all have wisdom you can share. Like, what's your favorite, recipe to support whether somebody's having stomach ache? There's teas that we can drink to support our digestion. So many knowledgeable women here.
I have a question. So, you know how the doctors, when mommy is released from from the doctors after giving birth, and they give him those stool softeners, what can we tell them, for them not to use those instead of those stool softeners?
Yeah, so I mean, they can take a stool softener, but they can take natural stool softeners. That would be to take anything that just supports your digestion. If you don't need a stool softener, if you're eating healthy, soft food that's good from new mothers, warming soups, that's where the concept of like warm and cool food come in. You want warm and easy to digest porridges, soft, like ricey soups, grains that have been cooked for a long time and slowly, fruits, all those soft fruits like prunes, those kind of things that's easy to digest, that's been cooked for a long time. All those recipes, we don't have to take pills and, like reduce our digestive. We don't want to reduce our digestive fire. We want to actually make sure that our digestion is burning at the right level. Mm-hmm. So the stool softener is kind of like, if you're going to eat the hospital food, if you're going to eat food that's like maybe quickly prepared, fast food, junk food, that kind of thing. But if you have somebody that loves you and is going to make the food for you, you're probably going to have a, better digestive beginning, really.
Sometimes women, they have an issue, during birth. They have, what is it thing called? This thing that comes out of the butt. I forgot what is the name of it. Help me out, girls. Hemorrhoids.
Yeah, hemorrhoids.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's really, really, really bad situation. What is your advice for women to take care of herself?
So my advice about hemorrhoids, what we just talked about, eating soft foods, walking, staying hydrated, making sure that you have fiber in your diet. Not at the first 3 days, you don't care about a lot of fiber. You need the soft soups, but You can also do the abdominal massage, the sitz bath. You can do the sitz bath with, you know, herbs that support the healing, like comfrey and calendula and any of your traditional recipes you have. And really, you know, it takes time for your body to heal. The other thing is, if you're doing abdominal massage and your tummy is really feeling calm and relaxed, when you go to the bathroom, also you want to make sure that you have your feet on a stool so that your posture is aligned and that it's a very direct exit, you know, for the waste to go out of your body. Then we're in the right position. I think, you know, all those things can help. It may not prevent it or eliminate it 100%, but at least it can reduce the pain. Also, I will say I am a fan of plant medicine, and maybe it's controversial, but I think the use of cannabis suppositories, there's some suppositories that go directly into like, there's something called Rectify. There's also one for vaginal suppository for pain. That gets absorbed directly through your digestive tract and it's not intoxicating. So I'm not talking about, you know, like using marijuana for intoxication, but for pain, natural pain relief. There's preparation H and there's ointments that people can make, but it's important, whatever you use on your body, that it's like safe for you to digest.
I have a question. If it's a friend of mine who had a baby, I think 13 years ago, she had that hemorrhoid. I'm glad that Suad asked for that, her first baby, and she's still suffering for that. And then she was, we were just talking about a couple of days ago that she wants to ask her doctor to removal. I was like, let me watch some YouTube, which is, I'm not sure why I'm watching YouTube, but just to know, to see the information, is if there's somebody who went through this thing. And then she was like, I'm gonna ask the doctors if they can remove it because it happened her first baby. And it's still, she's suffering. It's not because her stool are still hard, but because of when she had that first baby, the hemorrhoid was so bad that it was blowing up all her, and then I don't know what to say, but she's thinking that to go to see her doctor, and that way if they can remove her some of the stuff that is hanging there. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not going to give any medical advice. I'm just going to say that I think surgery is the last option ever. If there's any way you can address it with diet, exercise, massage, diet meaning just nutritious food. If someone is overweight, that can also be difficult for their organs to support them. So it could be weight loss, part of the solution. But I think, you know, like we said, even having a stool to support yourself to be in the right position. Some people are very good at their self-care. They eat at the same time every day. They go to the bathroom at the same time every day. Their body is like very much knows what to do and when to do it. And when we start mixing things up, you know, we skip a meal or we eat really fast. And, you know, I think the very first thing we can do is be honest with ourselves. Have I tried everything natural that I have control? Because there's no guarantee with surgery that it's going to solve the problem. It's an option.
Thank you.
Kristen, with the Diastasis recti, is there exercises that can make it worse?
Yeah. Yeah, like you don't want to do regular sit-ups because it's actually not good for you. There are a couple programs now, YouTube, alhamdulillah, like you can find everything.
Yeah.
So there are a couple different programs where you can see physical therapists that specialize in diastasis recti, you know, exercises that are safe. Some of the techniques are just learning how to like breathe and to connect, to reactivate your muscles, right? Most of us, we live here in our heads. We don't actually feel that connected to our bodies. So Mu2 Systems is one of the programs. There's another one called the Tupler technique. But you can get, I can send some links. There's some people that are physical therapists, pelvic floor physical therapist specialists. They have free videos, free information. So it's something that you can heal at home. You don't have to go away to a physical therapist. And there are people that want to get surgery because they're like, I just need this fixed right now. But if you're willing to do the exercises and to work with your body, it can also sometimes be prevented if you do an abdominal wrap after the baby's born and slowly, you know, start gentle exercise. There may be a chance that you're not going to have, you know, this problem at the end. So belly wrapping, I think, is a great way to prevent it. And even if you're suffering right now from diastasis recti separation, you can support your belly by doing some wrapping.
Oh, still, even does it depend on how long it's been since you had a baby, or just
No, and it's not just women that get it. Sometimes men also get it. And they end up saying, oh, we think you should have hernia surgery. Oh, we think you should have this and this. Also, I want to say that there's something called kinesiology taping. So it kind of looks like a Band-Aid, but it's stretchy material. And there's a way for you to tape your abdomen to support yourself during pregnancy, after surgery. And it actually calms the nerves. It's like, it tells your body, you're being held, you're okay. And the nerves say, okay, then we can be calm. So if somebody's having pain or weird, like tingling, burning sensations, just, I mean, on their, in their muscles.
Yeah. And does that, if you don't have that fixed, that will it affect your bowel movements? Like
it can, because diastasis recti separation, that's just one symptom. Sometimes people have incontinence, urine incontinence. Sometimes they have fecal incontinence, so they can't control their bowels. They may have a hernia. They may have back pain because their abdomen's weak. Like I've known older women actually that tried to lift heavy things and their abdomen muscles were in diastasis, so they were separated, and they tore their shoulder muscles. So like I said, your whole body is like connected.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can heal. It doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago, you can still strengthen yourself. Your body is amazing. It can heal itself.
Yeah. So for someone who, when they go to the bathroom, they have this really excruciating back pain and just cramping in their tummy, could that be related to that, or could there be something else going on?
You know, there's a lot of things that could be going on, but one thing you can do is when you go to the bathroom, like I said, you can try to put your feet on a stool. You can try to actually relax. And some people feel some relief when they pull their abdomen up, you know, or just gently put their hands on their abdomen.
Yeah.
You can even do the abdominal massage while you're going to the bathroom if you're having pain, right? But the main thing is you have to be in relaxation to work with your body.
Can I add that something for that? What helps me, I used to have that little bit pain. What helped me, I bought it from Costco. You know, those kids, my daughter has it when they were young to stand up and when they brush their teeth in the bathroom. So I use that. My toilet is a little bit longer. And when I sit, my feet is not, and then so that also give you a back pain. And I realized that if I put my feet that stand up, and it helps a lot for back pain for me. So that helps me a lot. If anybody going through, if they try that, that might be something that helps.
The step stool. Yeah, and think about it. Almost everything is built for the height of men, not for women. So if you're at a desk, when you're driving, when you're sitting, trying to go to the bathroom, even you're sitting at your dining table, if you are a shorter person and you're sitting in a chair or something that's like doesn't fit your body right, you can relieve your pain by lifting your feet up on a stool, whether it's kid's stool or like whatever you find.
Yes. And I know that when you go to the doctor and they look or they measure how open like the spaces between your abdomen, is there like like, what would you say? I know it's different everyone, but like the point where, okay, you really need to get some work done or start working on it, but like the opening, how big should it be or how small between?
So they usually do a measurement by the belly button, and they'll say, oh, it's 3. Like it's basically like the width of 3 fingers.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it goes down to 2 or 1, but if it's probably 3 or more, you may be experiencing like more pain. And like some people, maybe they never noticed it. Like honestly, 20 years ago, nobody was really talking about this.
Mhm.
So, and if you feel like something's not right, you can always talk to your doctor about it.
Mhm.
But what I would say is checking in with a pelvic floor therapist is probably your most direct, line of support, because when you go for your 6-week checkup, they don't even usually talk to you about the diastasis recti separation.
Mhm.
The other thing is, I know moms have to carry their babies in car seats,
Mhm.
but I don't recommend to anybody to carry the car seat with the baby in it. It's so hard on your body. If you have a baby sling, put your baby in the sling so you can protect your back, protect your abdomen, and carry the car seat empty or have somebody else carry the car seat. But you've got to, make it easy for yourself. We want to prevent the injuries, right?
Sorry, I'm
I have,
asking two
I have
questions. Go ahead.
a quick question. I don't know if you're familiar or not about SIBO. Are you familiar with that, sister? If you could.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a nutrition expert, but yes, I'm familiar with all kinds of digestive challenges.
Yeah, if you could touch on that a little bit. I'm just trying to understand.
So some people use this language like leaky gut and, different kinds of like colitis or trouble digesting. But basically, if your intestinal tract is not able to digest the food, whether it's because the food that you're eating, your body has a like intolerance for it, or because you're stressed and it's not able to absorb properly. I didn't even get into the fact that when we get exposed to antibiotics, it pretty much kills all the good microbiome in our digestive tract. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't take antibiotics. It can save your life for sure.
Mhm.
But I think, again, it's like we have to weigh the good with the bad. If you waited 3 days, only and you can make the decision. Do you want to take antibiotics or do you want to try other things to support yourself? And if you do take antibiotics, what are you going to do to heal your gut microbiome? Because it's going to take months to recover. Somebody had a question about what we can eat to support ourselves. So, they talk about the probiotics, and a lot of people think, oh, I have a certain challenge with digestion. Some people do elimination diet. So they take away the things like Brussels sprouts, cabbage, like really hard to digest things like broccoli. And they also take away things like legumes and beans because they think, well, it makes me gassy. I can't digest these lentils, these beans. But I think if you stop eating certain foods and you heal your microbiome by taking, the good probiotics, whether you take yogurt or you take like fermented foods. And when I say fermented, I mean, it's something you can make at home. There's so many good recipes about how to make your own like fermented vegetables, and that's real fermented. So it has the real microbes that are good for you. Not if you go to the store and you buy pickles, because they didn't do that in the factory. They didn't let that ferment properly. They just put it in a jar and sent it away with salt and vinegar. It's not been, like creating the microorganisms that are healthy for us. It's kind of like, they skipped a few steps. So I don't know if you have a specific question that I, can speak to, but I think there's a lot of ways that you can try to heal your gut microbiome, whether it's ulcerative colitis, SIBO, or FODMAP diet, all those things.
Thank you. That makes sense. About the antibiotics, especially taking it with someone with SIBO. That's what the GI doctors make it sound like. Oh, you got to take antibiotics to correct it or to do something about it. But as you said, that you will lose the good antibiotics, the good bacteria too, if you take that.
So you have to weigh the risks. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not a GI doctor. I'm not expert in that, but I do know that when you take an antibiotic, it kills all the good microbiome. So what can you do to support if you're going to get the benefits, the antibiotics?
Yeah.
There's things like papaya enzymes and drinking, even for example, if you hate to take fermented, like a spoon of fermented cabbage, if you hate that, even drinking the liquid of it, or taking a tea that supports your, digestion. And I mean, there's some amazing studies probably on like mushrooms and all kinds of ways. So if our food is our medicine, it can support us if we're actually taking pills and pharmaceuticals that upset our digestion, and that, it has some benefits, but it also has some things that make it challenging for our body.
How about probiotic? Do you advise to us, especially women, take like a probiotic daily?
Well, I don't take a probiotic, but I know that there's been times in my life where I thought, hey, that might be helpful. There are so many that you can find, but if you make your own yogurt at home, I mean, you don't need a probiotic. You don't need to buy something when you can make it at home. You can also make, and even for people that they don't do dairy because they are intolerant to dairy, some of those people are able to take yogurt, but you don't have to take cow milk to make yogurt. You could make coconut milk, make your own yogurt with the probiotic.
Well, I did not know that. I might just make my own milk because I'd be destroying milk sometimes. Dang. Anybody have questions, ladies? This is good. My sister Faiza is going to miss this, especially when you were talking about massaging your stomach while you're taking a dump. Sorry. That's her line. That's her line.
Yeah. Well, anybody that's had hemorrhoids or been constipated, I have actually been to the hospital when I traveled with my husband because I was having crazy abdominal pain when we went to Lebanon, and we went to experts and they're like, oh, probably something going on with your ovaries and this and that. And I'm like, I know it's not my ovaries. Like I knew something was wrong. I was having stabbing pain and it didn't feel like ovaries. And you know what? I hadn't gone to the bathroom for like 5 days. And then finally I got some relief. But now I know that if you're a sensitive person and you travel and you have anxiety, and for the first time in my life using the traditional toilet, I'm like, okay, now this makes sense. So.
Well, thank you for saying that, because I thought it's only me, because every time I travel, I don't go to the bathroom 2 to 3 days. And I thought something's going on with me, but because
Wait,
of
Shukri, you don't go to the bathroom 2 to 3 times? Me
no,
too.
and when I travel, no, I don't know why. I was like,
Me too.
What's going on? Every morning I used to go at home, but what's going on? Yes, so that
same
is,
here.
yeah, my goodness,
My entire
that's
stay,
normal.
subhanallah, my entire stay at Dubai, I didn't go to the bathroom until the day I was leaving.
Oh, wow.
See, if you knew tummy massage, maybe you could do that.
Now
Well,
I know. Now I know. Shukri and I
now
got
I
it
know
right now.
Now I know too. It's not only me. Thank you. I have one question, and it is not a question, but it's common because of when I had my kids, my youngest is 10. So one of the things that I really, I mean, you mentioned it was when you have a C-section or when you are a mother of who is overweight and then have a baby, first couple of days when you come home and then you your stomach feels like it's just going to the floor. They should have, I mean, the hospital should at least mention or give it to you, those things that you put it, that you were mentioning that holds to your stomach. I know back home, my mom, they used to put they used to hold it. They use any material that and then when I have my kids, she tells me, I can do it, mommy. You have to, but and I say, I had a cut. I don't want to mess up, but I wish I would have listened to her because it would have held my stomach up and not feeling like so painful and then feel like your stomach's just hanging and because it needs to be need also air and all that. I wish they should have given those, I don't know what they call, but that belt that helps your stomach to hold them.
Yeah, I think that,
Postpartum belt
yeah. So, and it doesn't
or
have to
postpartum wrap.
exactly. It can be like a, you know, like I have a Turkish towel, and I'm telling you, it's not just for after birth. If you have a back spasm or back pain, if you wrap your abdomen, it relieves the pain, you know, so that it reduces the kind of cramping or back spasms or cramp, you know, like abdomen pain. But you're right. And we are now understanding that there's a lot of wisdom in the traditional method, but what's missing is for people to explain the anatomy. And today we didn't get into the muscles and like how it all works together. But if you look at a muscle chart and you see how your body and your organs have expanded and stretched for 9 months, of course, after you give birth, you want to wrap yourself and to give yourself weeks of like recovery time. But here we just, everybody's alone and they rush to take care of their household. They don't really have their, you know, you're blessed if you have somebody that's cooking for you and, you know, can help you with your other kids. But these are the things they don't tell you at the hospital. And you know why? Because in Western medicine, they don't have these practices.
Mhm.
It's not a preventative. They don't tell people ahead of time. They usually deal with the problem after the fact.
Mhm. Mhm.
So everything is hanging by it. And after the fact, they just deal with the problem and then here comes the medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
But now you can share, if you see a pregnant mom, you can be a good auntie and tell her, hey, you know, I wish that I had this. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, if I didn't do it myself, but I wish I knew, I wish I had an auntie that told me this.
Oh, I always tell the women, you know, when I'm with them as a doula, I'm like, you know, are you going to wrap this stomach after you have baby? They're like, how do you do it? And I just, you know, show them afterwards, you know, just use them one of their shawl that they, you know, that worn out. And I just show them how to wrap it, you know, during my postpartum visit.
There you go. It just recycle your hijab. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be some special thing from Amazon, just any fabric we have.
Yep, true. Or, you know, one of those shawls that worn out, you know, like you washed it over and over and over again, you just want to throw it away, you just figure it out, just wrap it up. Yeah, shukriye. You know, علاش ما حير جرين والدينتنا ماركنو أنا قال لكن علاش محرنا. That's why هويين when you look at them علاش وحرنتها لكن أنا you know like.
Yeah. waxaa idin sheegaa waxaa maadaama idinka dooatiin and sorry talking to someone but and Target has it and then it is $25 when you buy it normally but sometimes Target nobody buy it if you go to the pregnancy and it's like sometimes it's $7.99 $5.99 you can get it whatever they have it so you can so I do that. I have that couple of them and I bought it and every time I see somebody I just give it to them because sometimes because I'm a little bit overweight, it doesn't work for me, but it works for the other sisters that I see it. So as a dual, so you guys maybe Target sometimes have it, those $5.99, $6.99, even though they're $25, they sell. So when you guys go there, check it out and it might help all those sisters.
I use the ones with the Velcro.
I'm going to check it out, inshallah.
You have to wrap your stomach. The ones with the Velcro. Yeah, and that was very helpful. Yeah.
even baby tummies, wrapping baby tummies, like with the swaddling or doing pressure, like just putting your hand on your tummy can actually help you feel grounded, more connected with your breath. And when your body feels calm, the gas is reduced, the pain is reduced. It doesn't take much.
Yeah. And when you think about all of these health issues that, you know, especially Western society, and just what you're saying and putting it into perspective, the lifestyle, our lifestyle and the drive-through foods, and going back to your video, I watched your video, Christian, it was just like, oh wow, really, so much of what's on there is basically prophetic tradition, like, you know, sit down when you eat, and all of this stuff that was foretold to us way before even, you know, the modern science. It's wow. And no wonder why, you know, so many of us are sick, and most of it just kind of originates from the gut. Like you said, there's an intimate connection between the gut and the brain, you know, and there's no mindfulness of when we're doing things, there's no sense of like, you know, stop and just focus on this one thing so that we can take in the whole, the moment, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's the missing link, is that people understand the prophetic tradition, and then they can explain how does that link to science, because a lot of people are not convinced unless they hear the science. But when you compare the two together, when, you know, spiritual practice or, you know, health practices of cultural, you know, origin connect with science, you're like, of course it makes sense.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do want to, unless anyone has any other questions. And someone was wondering about the slides. Christian, will we be able to get those?
Yeah, I'll send you the slides, and it'll have the talking notes in it. And then I can put together some things about the pelvic floor videos about healing. I'll just put together a couple of links.
Thank you. Yep, that'd be awesome.
Thank you so much for coming. And
oh my God, thank you so much, Christian. You've done so beautiful work today. We appreciate it so much.
If you want to share your website, or for those of us who are here today, way that they can contact you.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
And yes, I'm still making a health workshop day for Christian to come in Sister Cheltu. I'm going to make time, and then going to have a health workshop day in person. Inshallah, I will contact you and Cheltu separately, inshallah.
Okay, sounds great.
Because I think this time we will have a small intimate group together. Hopefully everybody have their shots. I'm just kidding. It's not mandatory, but it's requirement for people to wear their mask.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is gold. Thank you so much, Christian. This was awesome.
Thank you guys for coming out tonight. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully we'll have some rain this week. No rain. I never thought about it in my life. I'll be praying for rain and living in Seattle, but I've been praying for rain. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Alaikum salam.